beautiful. I'm not sure. Hello, anyway, hello. I'm here. The lighting's a bit poo because I haven't got a thing to put an extra light on. So you literally got the light in my living room, which does that scattering thing because it's a crackled glass. So yeah, it's not brilliant, but I mean, you don't need to see me that well, do you? Hey Jimbo. It's more about what I say, hopefully. So yeah, good to see you, Jimbo. How are you doing? And okay, and Rich Mitch is here. So Rich Mitch sent me one of these samples. If you know what that is, have a guess now. I've got loads of stuff to sniff, and it's very exciting. It's not all new to me. It's just like a little build up of things I've been acquiring the last couple of weeks. Rainy day here in North Carolina. I don't know what it's been like today. It hasn't inspired me to go out, so I wouldn't say it was particularly nice, but it wasn't particularly bad. And Karine is here. Hey Karine. See, it's a little accumulation of things, as a couple of things have been very kindly gifted to me by generous, kind people in Fragcom. And yes, so we've got lots of different stuff, quite a few Chanel things. Hey Joanna, just the therapy I need, putting a child to bed. Oh, lovely, brilliant. Hopefully child sleeps well and quickly. And John is here as well. Hey John. Love Alive on a hump day. Yes, of course. I mean, I don't always know what day of the week it is. That's because I'm stupid. I think it's because I work shifts. We'll say that instead. A little bit of static. Anyone else experiencing static? I don't know what to do about it because it's just my phone. Let me know. Is it Rich Mitch? Rich Mitch's. Oh, okay. I don't know what to do. Which side is the microphone? I have got a plug-in mic somewhere. I'll try and find it, but it might make it worse. Could be down here. No. Okay, it might be in a drawer, so bear with. Talk amongst yourselves. Behave though while I'm out the room. Children. Okay. Have microphone, will deploy, and do tell me if it's better or worse. Okay. Right. Yes, very shiny couch. How is the volume, people? Give me a thumbs up if it's all right. Is it better? Is it worse? Let me know. Tell me now. You've all gone silent. Better. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Yeah, keep me updated if it goes shitty again. Hello, Deluxe Excelex. I don't know how to say that. Hello, anyway, thank you for saying it's better. Still a bit of static. Oh, it must be my phone. There's not much I can do about that. If it's too annoying, tell me and I'll just stop. I have to get a new phone. Because I don't know how to stream on my camera. Not nearly as bad. Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, thank you. I'm making sure it's properly in its hole. Right, so yeah, we've got quite a lot of stuff to smell. So, don't forget to like the stream for me. I've got one like at the moment. If you're here, if you're enjoying yourself already, then give me a thumbs up. And we're going to start with Rich Mitch's that he sent me. Oops, which I'm going to drop. It's this sample here, unlabeled, and it's Hermes Paddock. So I'm all out of proper paper strips, so I'm back to cutting up notebooks. I mean, it doesn't really get that bougie around here, you know, kind of low level stuff here. Rich is a gentleman duck, he absolutely is. And yeah, I did spray this onto the envelope the other day, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. So it's obviously called Paddock. Hedonik says, good evening, Smelly World. I'm expecting a leather fragrance. I did look up the notes. The leather wasn't listed. It's a Christine Nagel fragrance. And I know there was carrot seeds and I think some sort of herbal notes. Yeah, something, it's a violet leaf in here. Something definitely gives me outdoorsy countryside, not funky. Karine says, I couldn't smell that one. Apparently it was limited edition, only a few bottles, and they didn't have it where I live. I think Rich Mitch performed some sort of miracle to be able to get hold of this one, and I am honoured that he sent me a sample. I definitely do get leather. I got leather from it when I smelt it the other day on the envelope. Oh, there's a really delicious thing in here. What is that? So it is kind of carroty. Hey Lizzie, evening smelly people. It's only available in the Paris boutique for a couple of weeks. Wow, so it's super exclusive. There is, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's a gourmand note in here. The most of the fragrance is very countryside, hay-like. I don't know about earthy. What is it in here? It's something that's in not tender Madeleine. A Madeleine from, is it Madeleine? One of the Musk Milanos that's a gourmand. Hey Christy. This is delicious. It's got a musky, sweet, cakey or dough. It's like not quite as sweet as a cake. But it's more sweet than bread. But it's in that direction. So it's dough, like doughy, but not uncooked dough. It's like cooked, like bakery-esque, without going fully gourmand. Rich Mitch, do you get a gourmand note from this? And are we supposed to get a gourmand note from this? This is quite delicious. I thought I got leather from it, but I don't now. I definitely get almost almond-like nuance, and that might be the hay. It's fluffy, airy, and light. There's nothing heavy. Yeah, definitely get musky, sort of irisy. Paddock. But there is definitely the same note that is in. Is it Lost Alice? I think it's in the Alice in Wonderland one, not the Madeleine one. I really like this. I want to put it on skin, but I've already got a few perfumes I've been wearing today. So I might come back and put this one on skin, because for me, I was expecting Paddock to not be up my alley, back passage, like the stream for Rich Mitch. Yeah, but like this stream for Rich Mitch. So don't go over to Rich's channel and start liking his old streams. I mean, you can do that. Like, definitely do that later, but stay here and like this stream for Rich Mitch for kindly sending me this sample of this unicorn. Yeah, so it's Paddock. Horses basically are unicorns without horns. See, it's yeah, I sort of get like a clean countryside smell. None of the animal shit. Not muck spreading, nothing that makes me think there's any kind of oudi accord in here. It's not even that earthy, but it's grounded. Yeah, it's slightly vegetal. But then there is this flowery kind of bread virgin on cake-like note, but very, very airy. Balanced. Very well balanced with much less like non-sweet notes. I really like this. I want to get it on my skin. I mean, I don't like it to the point that I need to go and hunt one down, because it sounds like it's an impossibility anyway. But I like it way more than I would expect to like a fragrance that's sort of named after horses. So let's see what we were saying. Madeleine's got the chestnut note. JC Russell's here. Hi, JC. Do horses eat chestnuts? There are horse chestnuts. I don't think they are necessarily eaten by horses, but I'm not the most. So we've got honey, hay, biscuit, chestnut. Okay, that makes sense. Biscuit. The biscuit's probably what I'm getting the virgin on cake note. Honey. It's not. It's definitely got like a honeyed nuance. Yeah, I honestly think if this was mainstream, people would be hyping it up and it would be selling like hot biscuits. It's really nice. It totally does have a gourmand element to it without being like full on gourmand. Chestnut made of horse. Want to ride a horse and wear paddock. Right, okay, so I think we'll leave that there for now, but I might come back to it. I'll pop it, I'll put the sample on top of the paper down here so I know what it is, because I'm also not organised enough to have a pen and write stuff down. Corinne says, for sure it doesn't smell like chestnut when they poop. Hey Alicia, good to see you. Right, let's move on to, I don't even know where to start. Let's go to the Francesca Bianchi's. Hot biscuit sounds like a nice smelling scent, yes. Although Americans have a different kind of biscuit to our biscuits. And I think they're like savoury hot scones or something. I haven't tried, I must try it. Well, I don't know when I'm going to go to America, but if I go to America again, I will try biscuits. I think they have them with gravy. I saw a video on it actually, where they got English kids to try gravy and biscuits, and it was not what they was expecting. Right, two new Francesca, well, one of them's Francesca Bianchi, the other is Hedonik, which is Francesca's other brand. I've got the samples here. I'm planning to review these in full. I have already got to know them to a degree. Rich Mitch has got these samples as well. I have to say a massive thank you to Francesca Bianchi. I don't think she'll watch this, but even so, she helped me out with the raffle thing. At the end, I won't go into the whole, it got little bit complicated, but basically, because of the kindness and generosity of Francesca Bianchi and Sarah McCartney, everyone got amazing prizes, because obviously some prizes could only go to the UK, there was a couple of prizes that could only go to the USA, and at the very end, of course, there were people that I couldn't match a prize to, just a couple. So because of Francesca and Sarah McCartney, those people got really nice prizes and it all worked out. So I'd like to say thank you to Francesca for that. And she sent me these two samples. Corinne says, I don't know what gravy is. Sounds like cat food. Probably looks a bit like cat food. So Francesca's brand Hedonik has a new fragrance called Exquisite Affair. We're going to do that one first. So that one will come. That one I'll spray on this wiggly piece of notebook. And I've tried this on skin. And what shall we say? I kind of think I'm almost ready to review it, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of a breakdown. It's a peachy fragrance, but it has that Francesca Bianchi suede like irisy thing. I would say at the beginning, the closest fragrance I could put it sort of similar to is Tiger Tiger, and I went so far as to do side-by-side testing of both on my hands the other day, and would say that the opening is sort of similar in that it's kind of fruity, suede like irisy, has the same texture, the same density, but this is more peachy. This is quite peachy, and then yeah, the peach is really smooth, really nice, and a slight caramel tone to it as well. But the difference was that Francesca's Tiger was really quite powdery, sweet powdery all the way through, and this one did get a little bit leathery. Not, overly leathery because I'm not a big fan of leather, but that when Francesca does leather light, and the leather, there is a leather note in here, but it's not obvious to me until quite a way in, and it's a slightly grounded earthy-ish leather, but it's not like the full-on leather of your Tuscan leather, and it's not the leather of Lover's Tale. It's nowhere near the intensity of that. It's a light, very easygoing. For me, it's totally wearable leather, but it is there. And yeah, I don't know, there might be osmanthus in here as well. It's got that kind of apricotty, peachy tone, definitely fruity and fluffy and irisy and slightly like caramel-ish, with of course the muskiness that you always get. I don't find anything scary about this one. I don't think many people would dislike it, and I think peach lovers would go crazy for it. I really like this one. I think it's really nice. It's well worth checking out if you have a similar taste to me, if you like Tiger, if you enjoy sort of fruity, irisy scents, if you like Francesca's just general DNA, but in her more friendlier, approachable fragrances, then this one's really, really nice. So that is Hedonik, Exquisite Affair. Very, very nice, that one. I'll pop that one on the floor, catch up with your comments. We were talking about gravy. Okay, so we've got a lot of chat going on about gravy, so I will just carry on and sniff the next one, Mariner's Rhyme. So this is from Francesca's original line. The Mariner's Rhyme is of course an aquatic, which is one of my least favourite genres of perfumery, so I was not expecting to love this. And I don't. Spoiler alert. This is huge. First of all, I sprayed a piece of card by my work desk because I was working, and 2 days later I walked past my desk and I was like, bloody hell. And honestly, it was radiating from a piece of paper and still sort of filling the room. So it's a big one, okay? It's huge, and it definitely is of that aquatic nature, but it is not 90s aquatic. It's not designer aquatic. This is, for those of there won't be that many of you that have tried Hakel's. They're Margate based, all natural, and they go out in the landscape of Margate, which is by the sea, and they tincture herbs and plants and various things, I think, from the sea. So they make fragrances that are very rugged and of the earth and of the sea, and they actually smell, there's one in particular, it's quite popular, that smells literally very natural, but like being by the sea. And this has that same feeling of a very natural, by the sea kind of fragrance, but this is not, what do you call it? Blackpool. There's no rock. Rock is, if you're not from the UK, rock is that mint flavoured long hard candy. It's not like 4160 Tuesdays, what I did on my holidays. There's nothing like sweet. There is some things in here that are slightly sweet, but nothing like the sweet things you can buy by the sea. This is not a nice pleasant day on a picnic blanket or sitting on a towel with like gentle waves lapping. No, this is rugged, it's hardcore, it's rough seas, it's the foliage of the surrounding, it's cliffs, it's very sort of like natural, but like very scary scary landscape by the sea. And yeah, it's too much for me. It's way too much for me. This is what I would call art. It's very clever what she's achieved, but it's not wearable for me. If you like really big beast mode perfumes, and if you enjoy the sort of the smells of the sea, and like, I don't know if there's any kind of seaweed note in here, but it just totally takes me to, it's like standing on a cliff edge, and the wind's like it's blowing a gale, and the waves are crashing, and then if anyone was to take a boat out, they would get killed. You know, it's like it's rough, it's tough, but it's a very natural seascape kind of scent. You can sense some of that iris that Francesca uses, and especially in the opening. I find the opening a little more friendly, and I guess a little bit of sweetness comes through in the opening, but then as it wears, it is really that proper like sea, not just a breeze, like a gale. Yeah, but I can see some people massively loving this. It's just completely not my style. So that is the Mariner's Rhyme. I don't know the notes, so I don't think it's even relevant. Like that is what it is. What I've said it is what it is. Just trust me. Trust me. Jimbo wearing a Francesca Bianchi fragrance is a full day commitment. It absolutely is, yeah. Liz Moore's is my Francesca Bianchi. I love them both equally. Right, let's stay on Francesca Bianchi. So with what Francesca did to help me out with the whole raffle thing, she sent a couple of her new candles. So I sent one of them to the winner in particular, and I kept one for myself. So here it is. So she's got small candles, that's these ones here, and then she has larger candles. They're on her website, and I just happened across them, and she's not spoken about them as far as I'm aware of, or as far as I could see, that she's not mentioned them on her Instagram or anything. So I just stumbled across them, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I kept one. And so this one, excuse me, this one's called Rapture. This is so nice. The other one was slightly sort of like more patchouli heavy. I think it's called Venetian or something like that. This one is much more my thing. So it's like a powdery vanilla. It almost smells like what you imagine snow to smell like. I've got a candle over there. One of my favourite candles is called Fairy Dust from Lily Flame. They're quite an affordable brand for candles, and I've been a massive fan of Fairy Dust for years. And this has a similar feel to Fairy Dust. So if you know that, then you get an idea. So it's like a powdery and sparkly sort of vanilla with maybe baby powder and glitter on top. It's just really lovely. I obviously haven't burnt it yet because I wanted to show it as it is in its clean new state. Simplistic design there, and yeah, really lovely. So looking forward to burning that. Okay, what should we do next? Okay, mine are what should we call this? It's not exactly a public service announcement, but Sarah McCartney, when I was talking to her about the other issue that I had with the raffle that she helped me out with, Sarah McCartney let me know that Hush Hush, our collaboration, she is bringing the Eau de Toilette to the permanent line on her website. So for those of you that love it or wanted to try it and didn't get around to it, it will be on her website as a permanent line, which is brilliant news. So I've brought my bottle down. Let's just have a spray in the air. And if you don't know what Hush is, it's violet, raspberry, a little bit of rose, lots of musk, smells a little bit like a touch of a sort of cigarette box note. I find it a touch minty on the opening. There's no mint in it, but I get a touch of mint, just the way that everything meets together. Such a nice perfume, so lovely. The Eau de Toilette was always my favourite version, so that is going to be in the permanent line. Is really nice, really good to know. I don't make any money from it, by the way, so I'm just letting you know. And yeah, really love it. So that is that. Hush Hush Eau de Toilette. She's also making one batch of the Eau de Parfum because someone specifically wanted more. So she's decided to make one more batch of the Eau de Parfum. So there's going to be a limited quantity of that as well. John says that is excellent. Congratulations, Claire. Thank you. Karine says, oh nice, I still wish I could try it. Oh, I hope you can, Karine. And John says, I bloody love the opening and my fave too, Claire. It's very nice. Thanks, John. Yeah, it's good stuff. Even if I do say so myself. Right. Okay, let's do this one. I need a drink. So let's pretend to be Rich Mitch for a minute. Excuse me while I hydrate. I am off the booze, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that before. I am not drinking alcohol. I haven't done since the 1st of January. So yay me. And it's been good. It's been a revelation. Okay, this one is Juliet's Rose Perfumes. I've spoken about them before. I Dreamed of a Rose, and also Black Rose Musk. I bought those because I love them so much. And I bought this sample, Alice and the Rabbit. So I love the name. I love all things Wonderland, probably not as much as Lizzie does. Our LB, Lizzie, loves the old Alice in Wonderland stuff, but there is something very evocative about the story, the illustrations, the films, and this is, I'd say it's for gourmand lovers, but it is not as full-on gourmand as some of the other gourmands. But it's not a listed note. I get foamy bananas straight away. Those sweets, you know, the foam bananas, you can get shrimps like it, and you can get the foam bananas. I get that in here. It doesn't last that long, but oh my god, is it nostalgic, delicious, love it. Then what happens with this is it kind of goes in the same direction as Blanche Bette from Liquid Imaginaire. And I truly believe that if anyone loves that scent and can't afford it, that this would fill the void for them. Obviously Juliet doesn't do clones, and it's definitely not it's not a dupe, but it has a lot of similar notes, musk and vanilla. I think there's a coconut note. If not, I still can kind of smell a bit of a creamy, soft coconut kind of scent in here. But that foamy banana in the beginning is like blows me away. It's pretty sweet. Like, it might be just a tad too sweet for my usual taste. I have worn it, but I do have a little bit of a story. Actually, I don't think I'm going to tell the whole story because it's too long. But I ended up in a situation where I was in the back of a taxi going on a long journey really fast because we were in a hurry, and the taxi driver took his instructions that we're in a hurry very seriously, and I ended up getting car sick. And I had this on one wrist, and the scent, the sweetness of there's quite a lot of vanilla in the dry down, the scent of it coming up to me while I was car sick. When people say a sweet fragrance is cloying, try smelling a sweet fragrance when you're car sick and stuck, because there's no getting, like, I had to stop and thought I was going to throw up. I didn't, but I had to get back in the car. I got in the front and it was a bit better, but I still felt ill for the whole journey home. And yeah, smelling this and I'm sure it would be the same with any other sweet perfume. This literally just on one wrist was no, when people say something's cloying, honestly, try it when you're really sick. Then you know what cloying is. But I highly recommend this if you love Blanche Bête, or if you would love to try Blanche Bête, but it's not, you can't find it. It's quite hard to even get to test that fragrance. Then I massively recommend you try this, but it is a bit heavier on the sweet stuff. Whereas Blanche Bête is a little more ethereal in the dry down, more musky, less vanillic. But generally speaking, very, very, it's in the same ballpark. And of course, this is much, much cheaper. Juliet's perfumes are around, I think, sort of like £60 mark. So way, way cheaper. Amazing performance, because, you know, I'd been wearing it all day long on my wrist and it was still literally projecting up to my nose hours and hours after spraying it. Really beautiful if you love gourmand, but without being full 100% gourmand. But you've got to love vanilla, I think. And if you love foamy bananas, the opening is like chef's kiss. Really, really good perfume. So that's Juliet Rose perfumes, Alice and the Rabbit. She does samples like this, and they're very affordable. About £4.75 for a sample. Just go and order a load. And I'm not sponsored, and I bought all my own stuff from Juliet. I think she sent me a couple of samples once, but yeah, I just think she makes really good fragrances for very good prices. So let's have a little hydration. Okay, so if you're watching the stream and you haven't said hello yet, we do have rules around here. It's for health and safety. So even if you're feeling a little bit shy, you don't have to say anything. You can just post a little emoji. You could let me see what you had to eat. Post a little emoji of the last food that you had, or similar, because obviously not everything's in the emoji selection. Post a little emoji, or maybe of your favourite animal. Just so we know that you are here, and we can just sort of keep track if there's a fire or or an earthquake. I can let you know where the emergency exits are and take your register out in the playground. Yeah, Jim, it's Juliet Rose fragrances, or Juliet Rose perfumes. She's on Etsy, and I'm sure she did say she posts internationally, but I don't know what when it comes to the postage charges and any customs charges, I don't know about that. Blanche Bête is too lactonic for me, Karine says. This might be as well then, maybe, because I do think it is a bit lactonic. John has given us a pig. Of course, John loves his pork and some red wine. Lovely. I love pork. I get this pork belly from Marks and Spencer's when I want to treat myself. So I think it's called, I don't know if it's salt and pepper pork belly, but yeah, look out for it. Honestly, it's absolutely amazing. Baby back ribs for lunch. Jimbo, very nice. What did I have? Oh, I've just eaten half a pizza. I found it in the freezer. And my fridge is empty. So it's crazy. I'm so lazy. I need to go shopping. Oh, hey, Valentina. I didn't know you were here. That last one was Alice and the Rabbit from Juliet Rose. Far too sweet for your tastes. Right, I think I have caught up. Right, yes, I think I've caught up. Okay, John says pork belly is heavenly. John could probably just talk about pork belly now all night long, or pork in general. Right, where are we? Okay, let's sniff. Iris Malikan. I'm pretty sure I've never smelt this one before. And I have this bottle, this partial bottle, that was kindly sent to me by a lovely lady on Facebook. I won't say her name, she might not want me to. But she actually sent me a couple of things that are over here. And she saw my video on the fake Chanel, which I've got over here as well, on the fake Chanel Allure that I bought. And she asked me if I wanted her bottle of Allure, which she didn't want anymore. So I'll show you that in a minute. But she then said, have you tried this one, Iris Malikan? And I said, I don't think I have. So she sent me this, got a little bit left in the bottom. I mean, that's so amazing. And I've not smelt it. I've not even taken the lid off to smell it. I wanted to do it live. And chili con carne for Karine. What was this? I do think a pork channel should be my side hustle. Red Tractor, if you're watching. And Deluxe Velux said, I sampled Iris Malikan recently. Liked it. Reminds me of Memo Italian Leather or some such. Planning on getting a decant to try it some more. Jimbo says, I love Iris Malikan. Now, I mix this brand up with... So this is Maison Crivelli. There's another brand who I mix it up with, but they're quite molecular. And I think I was thinking this is going to be molecular, but I actually don't know. And I've forgotten, I remembered it earlier, the other brand I was thinking of, but it's gone. So we're going to try Iris Malikan. I do know that when I read the notes, there was one note that put me off. Maybe, I don't know if it's galbanum or something else. I don't know if there's cumin. There is one note that really put me off in this, which stopped me from ever trying to get a sample. And apart from that, I know it, obviously I love Iris so much, so it's great to be able to try it. And we'll sniff it in a minute. Just gonna let that alcohol settle. Oh, it might be gal. I think I can smell galbanum. Yeah. Okay, right, we're going to sniff it. I think I smell galbanum. And I don't hate galbanum. It's just I don't love it. But usually it doesn't last. I have noticed that in most fragrances, it seems to be a top note that doesn't hold on for too long, which is good. Yeah, so I'm definitely getting like a galbanum-y type top. A sort of like herbal green. But I can smell an iris that's smooth and buttery, not really powdery at this point. Papery as well. Yeah, it's making me think of books, old books. Very pleasant. I might put this one on skin. I do think when it comes to iris and when it comes to musks, they've got to go on skin. Okay, we're going to put this one on skin. It smells good. It might be a bit green for my taste, but I don't know. It's not like heavy green. It's no more green than the Chanel Cristal that I've got. So let's give it a whirl. It's so nice to have the bottle. I find myself when I have samples and decants not reaching for them just because it's nice to use a bottle. So it's nice that I've got that. I'm very, very grateful for that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm picking up on... No, I don't think so. I was wondering if there was a little bit of one of those molecules I don't like, but I don't think there is. Or if there is, I don't know. I'd say it's definitely papery. It almost makes me think of papyrus. Not necessarily, I don't even really know what papyrus smells like, but it's like what you imagine papyrus would smell like. So kind of greenery and paper together with a slight vegetal touch, a little bit light carrot. It's like weird effect on my nose, like not peppery exactly, but like prickling, sparkling, little changes are going on. I'd say at the moment it smells like it could be one of those Your Skin But Better fragrances. It doesn't feel like it has a real intensity, and I don't mean it smells weak. I just mean it doesn't have really bold notes. There's nothing jumping out, nothing sharp, nothing screechy, nothing shouting, nothing jarring. Very, very smooth, buttery, clean. It's nice. It's nice. Something sweet coming through. Definitely like a hint of vanilla. I don't know if vanilla's a note. Yeah, I think there's some vanilla coming through. Nice. Very nice based on my first impressions. Does anyone know the notes? If you do, please share, because I'd be curious to know. But for me, I'd say the notes are galbanum, iris, obviously, paper, carrot, maybe vanilla. There might be something like an ambroxan, some sort of light woody aroma chemical, possibly, but it's not overbearing. It's like it's forming a little base, as these kind of aroma chemicals should, but it might be coming through a little bit. Yeah, it might be cashmeran, maybe. That can be a little bit papery. But yeah, I do think it's the kind of fragrance that if you like those Your Skin But Better type perfumes, then you might like it. Corinne says, I think there may be one of these modern molecules too. Somehow it smells quite modern to me. Yeah. Oh, hi Claire. This is the Iris Malikan. Doesn't project very much or last too long on me. Says Jumbo Cashmeran is the one that is awfully peppery to me. Orris, vanilla, leather, galbanum. Mastic, cypress, amber, mimosa. Okay. Yeah, there is an aroma chemical that I don't love coming through. I don't think it's really harsh, and I don't think it's really strong, but I'm picking up on it, and it is a woody, maybe what you would call a woody amber, but it's definitely more woody than anything else. Yeah, it's definitely getting woodier. So we'll come back to that one. So the other thing that the very lovely person sent me, who I don't know if they're happy for me to say, so I'm not saying at the moment, is the Allure Eau de Parfum. And let me compare it to the fake that I got. So hang on, let's take it out of the box. So this is an older formulation. I'm not 100% sure of the year. That's the fake I got. That's the real thing. So the fake has got a label that would be on the X-ray, but it's a 100ml bottle, and no X-ray from Chanel comes in a 100ml bottle. And I showed a video. I showed all the differences between this and my Coco Mademoiselle, because that's the bottle they're trying to copy, albeit that Allure doesn't come in one of these bottles. That's what the Allure Eau de Parfum should look like. And there's a fake, whatever the hell that. But the interesting thing about this is, having now smelt the correct one, I said in my video, this actually smells like a bit like Ylang Ylang Nosy Bee from Paris Monte Carlo, like a watered down version. Doesn't smell great. The opening smells a bit cheap, but on paper, when it's had a good half hour to an hour to dry down, it actually smells really nice. Sort of like banana-y ylang and a deep, rich vanilla. And I said, as far as I was aware, there's no ylang ylang note. But smelling this, I think there is ylang ylang. So maybe they got a clone of Allure and put it in this bottle. Either way, of course, that's got to be destroyed because it could be piss and battery acid for all I know. So I can't put it on my skin, and I don't want to anyway. So Allure, the notes are, depends where you look. The notes are peach, vanilla, can't remember what else. There's a floral, I think there might be jasmine, but let me give you my notes. I don't know it that well. I've only put it on my skin for the first time today. When I first sprayed Allure Eau de Parfum, I thought it smelled like Samsara, and I do think that it is quite similar to Samsara, not as punchy, but I think this is an ylang ylang sandalwood fragrance and peach. Definitely do get that fruitiness from the peach. I have been wearing it today. Sort of mostly gone now. I also think there could be a hint of patchouli, but not one that you're supposed to notice. But I do think when you get this sort of, when you get to the dry down, you get this sort of powdery, but the powdery vanilla is quite dark and it's brown in texture, and it feels to me like there's a touch of patchouli in the mix. Let's see what people are saying here. My mother used to wear that one, says Corinne. John says it's a lovely one. This is the modern version, butchered and flat like the Allure Homme. I don't know this. I think this one, when I looked at the batch code, I think it's 2017, but I could be wrong, because obviously Chanel reused their batch codes, so it could be, maybe it could be older, I'm not sure. Claire says galbanum, orris, vanilla, mimosa, pepper. Definitely got the pepper in there today. I remember that specifically. Amber, cypress and leather. Yeah. So to me, it's ylang ylang, peach, a little, a punchy little sandalwood mixing with some patchouli, the vanilla, goes a little powdery, but it's definitely got this depth. The colour is brown, the colour is mahogany to me, or maybe lighter than that. It has got this vintagey feel, and as I say, reminds me of Samsara, and I looked on Fragrantica to see if anyone else thought that, and I had to actually type in Samsara because there's so many things that people think it looks like. So I had to go to the search bar for that, and 8 people have upvoted Samsara, 7 people have downvoted it, so it's obviously subjective, but to me it's Samsara. Like if I was trying to describe it to someone who couldn't smell it and needed to know what it smelled like, I would say if you like the feel of Samsara, then you're going to like this, but it's not as deep and punchy. I think the sandalwood's lighter, not quite as chewy and sort of spicy. In my mother's version, I remember something like peachy aldehyde, but it was years ago. Claire, the notes you're listing, is that Iris Malikan? I think that's probably the notes for Iris Malikan. Because this year, I know peach is definitely listed. No, it's really nice, but it definitely has like a bit of a vintage vibe. like an old school kind of vibe, a little bit glamorous, I think. But I've enjoyed wearing this one today, and I'm enjoying getting to know it. It's very, very nice. So thank you to the kind person who sent it to me. So we've popped that one away, and I have been doing a bit of a deep dive on Chanel. And I think that, oh no, hang on, no, we've got the other thing that this kind person sent me is, oh, I keep trying to take the lid off and that's not how it goes. This is Allure Sensuel, and this one definitely has patchouli. When I first sprayed this the other day, I thought, oh, it's Coco Mademoiselle, but with a dominant, like more dominant patchouli, and that's what the opening is like to me. Very much like if I just smelt this, I'd say that's Coco Mad, but more patchouli. I haven't tested it on skin, and I haven't done more than I've just done now. Literally smelt the opening. So I would guess this has the same notes as Coco Mademoiselle. Yeah, like rose, white florals, citruses, patchouli for sure. But I do want to test this one on skin, and I might test it side by side with my Coco Mad Intense. But yeah, this has to me a more modern feel than the Allure, and they're not that similar. But definitely got more patchouli than my intense version of Coco Mademoiselle. But then I think that has less patchouli than the original Coco Mademoiselle anyway, which is probably why I like it better. But this is, I guess you'd call this a fruituli. But it's nice though. I might be able to handle this amount of patchouli. I'll have to test it on skin. But I like it. It's fun. So that is Allure Sensuel. And now we are on to, I've already reviewed, I'm going to quickly give a shout out, in case you didn't see my review, I'm going to quickly mention and have another sniff of the Gallivant Nida. While you're here, while I've got this captive audience, that's the bottle. It's a limited edition extract, this one, and it's really nice if you like your irisy violet perfumes. This one is quite lovely. When I first smelled it, it reminded me of Dior Homme, which is never a bad thing. But it doesn't stay that way, but it keeps like a bit of that throughout. But it's more violety. It's a it's a musky violet iris powder. I think there was another floral. Almost minty actually. It's definitely not a mint note, but chalky, a little bit chalky, like chalky mint. This has changed. I wonder if this has developed in its little sample bottle. Let's see, what notes do we have? It's very nice. It says here, scents of flowers in the breeze, pine trees, moss, patchouli, amber, the carefree rhythm of summer. That's not all the notes. Might be on this page. Yes, here we go. A tea-infused floral amber in parfum concentration, mandarin, cardamom and incense. Yes, cardamom, that's what's giving it the mintiness, I think. I forgot about the cardamom. Tea, lilac, jasmine, violet, orris, a sunflower accord, cedarwood, patchouli, moss, tolu, radiant, amber accord. So nice. If you like cardamom, you should check it out. If you like irisy violets, check it out. like musky powdery stuff, check it out. That's Nida from Gallivant. Pop that on the floor. I love clearing up after a live stream. Not. Let's hydrate. Right, I think I saw some comments. Let's have a look. Does sound quite nice, says Jimbo. Okay, so now we are onto the Chanels. So I am all of a sudden taking a deep dive into the Chanel exclusives. It came about because Valentina sent me a sample. Actually, back ages ago, Valentina sent me a sample of beige. And then I think I said to her that, oh, that's really nice. I really like that. The thing with the exclusives is I sometimes mix up what I've smelled with the name. So I Mega Pint, yes, Karina, I love that. That Johnny Depp trial, honestly, I've got fond memories of that. I have mixed up some of the exclusives before in my head and thought that beige was Bois des Îles. And so when Valentina first sent me a sample of beige, I was expecting the sandalwood fragrance Bois des Îles. And then I think I sent Valentina a message saying, oh, this is really nice, because I was kind of surprised, because Bois des Îles I've smelled it only in shops, but I know that it's not quite my thing. It's probably just not sweet enough for me. And then I kind of forgot about my sample for whatever reason, and it went in my little, like, I've got a tray of samples that are there to be tested here and there when I think about it. You know, they're like, I'm interested, but oftentimes I don't get around to testing them again. So that sample got lost in that little tray. And then months and months later, Valentina sends me some samples, some really amazing samples. I did a video about them, the floral fragrances, and amongst them was another sample of beige. And I just kind of on a whim, because I needed to go and do really needed to tidy up my garden, and on a whim I just thought I'll just wear this. And as I went about, you know, pulling up weeds and stuff, I kept catching whiffs of it, and I was like, this is so nice, it's sweet. And I think I was still thinking in my head it was Bois des Îles, even though I knew it was called beige, but I was thinking it's the sandalwood one that's not that sweet. And I'm thinking, this is so nice. And then I got obsessed, and it didn't take me long until I bought a bottle. So this is beige. I got this on eBay, used 75ml. It came in a box. It's all good. It's not fake. We've got the proper engraving on the bottom. We've got the writing behind the label. We've got a batch code on the back. I did look up the batch code. I think it was 2000. I can't remember. I did look up the batch code. It's a few years old. Oh, it's so lovely. Just makes me happy, this smell. I was so obsessed with it, and I just had to have it. John says Valentina has one heckers of a collection. She's got a beautiful taste. Corinne says, I have Bois des Îles. I like beige, but beige doesn't like my skin. Lizzie says, always wanted to check out more of the Chanel Exclusives collection. John, I'm still waiting on that Coromandel sample. Coromandel it got raved about years ago in Fragcom, and everyone was talking about this chocolate note. So I got it back in my gourmand days, and all I wanted was proper gourmand fragrances, and I got a Coromandel, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Because of course patchouli's not my favourite note. I can handle a small amount, but this fragrance is all about patchouli. I don't get any of that white chocolate. I was so disappointed. Good old eBay. Yes, honestly, I'm obsessed with eBay these days, especially since I got into the exclusives, because I mean, they're bloody expensive, brand new. I wouldn't pay full retail for any of the exclusives. The one that I have that I love and that I bought duty free with a discount is 31 Rue Cambon, and Valentina got me into that as well. 31 Rue Cambon is actually, in my opinion, worth retail because it's very strong, very long lasting. You don't need much of it, and it smells so good. It is my favourite of all the exclusives. And yeah, I got it at duty free with an extra 20% off, and I was on my way on holiday and I thought, bugger it, with the 20% off I'm going to treat myself. And I'd been wanting it for so long and it wasn't coming up, I wasn't finding it secondhand, so I jumped on it and I'm glad I did. I love it, but I wouldn't really pay full retail for any of the other exclusives, especially now the prices have gone up again. I got this used bottle for £110, and I have the two decants that Valentina sent me. I've actually refilled from this bottle to take on holiday with me, so I haven't. It came more full than this, just so you know. But yeah, this is probably my second favourite exclusive, although I do really enjoy Missia and a few others I have here now. Right, let's have a look. John says it's more white chocolate, nice but dim. I didn't get white chocolate from it. I just got heavy patchouli. I mean, it was a long time ago. My tastes have developed, but I still don't love very patchouli dominant scents. Valentina says Coromandel was love at first sniff. Is Valentina to Chanel what Alcarine is to Guerlain? Maybe, yeah. Although, yeah, I think Valentina is to florals. In general, good quality florals is what Valentina is all about. Corinne says I'm not really fond of patchouli, so I passed on Coromandel and Lilian. Yeah, Lilian was a fail for me. I mean, I think I had a sample of it. I don't really remember it, but it was very strong, very heavy, and very ambery. It's just not my thing. It was made for the Middle Eastern market, so that generally isn't going to be my cup of tea. John loved Lilian. Lizzie says patchouli so hit and miss for me. I just never know. Yeah, I know you. I noticed that you like a lot of fragrances that have a fair dose of patchouli in them, like that rose one from Van Cleef & Arpels. That's really heavy on the patchouli to my nose, and my what's the word? Sensitivity towards it. What is Le Lion in French, Corinne? I love the lion, so cozy and smoky, says Valentina. Right, yeah, so beige then. Beige is a floral perfume. I did mention it in my floral video that I just did, spring perfume video. Yeah, it's a frangipani fragrance. So to me it smells like a mixture of florals, really, not just like one floral. It could have a touch of jasmine or something like that in it. The florals smell honeyed. There's a honey note, but it doesn't smell like sniffing a jar of honey to me. There's a hawthorn note. I think hawthorn and mimosa are kind of similar, like powdery yellow, fluffy, pollen-like sweet scent. And I definitely get something like that in the mix. My favourite part is dry down. So it's very beautiful, kind of sunny and orangey toned. I think there's mandarin in the opening, not listed, but you know me, I like to put my own notes out there, and I think it's mandarin. And it's orangey hued in general, and then as it dries down it gets like powdery and musky. Smells a bit like an irisy kind of scent. Really, really lovely, very addictive, very soft, very calm. Not really a statement, not a big bold fragrance, not really a night out fragrance, but a cozy sort of snuggle fragrance, or just a general day-to-day approachable, friendly, happy perfume. I'm just really, really happy with it. yeah, so Beige and Valentina are responsible for together for really getting me properly focusing in on the exclusives. Lizzie says Rose Rouge is very patchouli, but just seems to work so well for me. Jimbo says I blind bought Rose Rouge because it was really cheap online. The patchouli doesn't overwhelm. It does me. It's so funny. It might even just be the kind of patchouli, that kind of patchouli I just don't get on with. How do we describe it? I don't know. I quite like really powdery. Often when a patchouli is listed as aged patchouli and it's kind of dry, I like that, but I don't like a more moist patchouli. No, I know some of you love the word moist. If you like the word moist, write moist in the comments. John says, anyone else started to appreciate Chanel more in middle age? I appreciate I'm the only old one here. Well, you're younger than me, John, so watch your mouth. Yeah, that is me. I wonder if anyone else is the same. Jim says, please, John, you're a child compared to me. Yeah, because aldehyde is another thing I've been a bit, I've not really enjoyed and really sought out in perfumes at all. But I tried Chanel number 22 in the shops the other day, which is, it's listed, or it's kind of like known as a sister to number 5. But number 5 I can't get on with. To me, it's very dark and heavy, and aldehydes are overwhelming. When I tried 22, it felt lighter, fizzy, but not heavy and dark like number 5 can smell. And I actually quite enjoyed it. It was cold and interesting. And it's so interesting to try perfumes that aren't your wheelhouse, because aldehydes, and 22 is very, very much about aldehydes, and they don't go away. I always thought aldehydes were supposed to be a top note that disappear quickly. 22, that is not the case. It smelled aldehydic for hours and hours, albeit it changed, the scents of them changed. They went sort of waxy and soapy on my skin, but it was such a pleasure to test and to experience something different. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to get a sample of 22 because at the moment, so I'm building some samples of the exclusives. So we have Beige, obviously, which I love. Beige, I think, is a very easy fragrance. For most noses are going to be okay with it. Some of the others maybe not so much. But yeah, 22, I really need to sample properly, because just going to a shop and spraying it on your wrist is not enough to make decisions and to draw conclusions. So I've managed to gather some samples. I love Fragcom. I have Facebook Fragcom, Instagram Fragcom. People are so helpful, and I put a call out for samples of the exclusives I wanted to try. One very generous, kind person actually sent me 1932. Didn't want anything for it. Thank you so much. You know who you are. And 1932 is really nice. I think I sprayed it on here earlier. I've worn it. I've sprayed it. I've had this a few days. I've sprayed it a few times on skin. It's a little bit like a 31 Rue Cambon, but it's lighter, powderier, and then it goes drier. And yes, it's like a light floral. It's irisy, but it's more woody in the dry down. It's very powdery, soft, but it does go quite dry. So it might go too dry for my taste. And it's similar enough to Rue Cambon that at the moment I'm not feeling like I need to own it, but I do think it is really, really nice. So yeah, it's got a little citrusy top. I'm not sure if it's bergamot, could be lemon. In 31 Rue Cambon, I get a very distinct lemon sherbet kind of opening from it. And this is lighter, but still the same sort of tone. And then it's just powdery, just general sort of light floral, woody fragrance in the dry down. So 1932. So my plan is to deep dive, to do I'm probably going to review all of them separately and then do a conclusion video, something like that. So that is that one, 1932. Moist, says Jim. Cake, yeah, moist cake should be moist for sure. John says moist, damp, squelchy, foisty. Foisty? That sounds like you're trying to say thirsty with an accent. Foisty. What's that accent? Whoops, I was too quick there. What did you say? Moist. Teone's patchouli is... Yes, Teone's patchouli is... I can really happily take Teone's patchouli. It might be... Maybe hers is one of those aged ones. And... Valentina says, I find 1932 more aldehydic than Rue Cambon, like a younger sister. And Corinne says, 1932 was my work scent for a while. Yeah, it's very, very nice. It's certainly up there as one of my favourites. Now, let's talk about gardenia. I would love if your thoughts, if you have or have tried gardenia, especially in terms of how you find the performance, because it gets a really bad rap amongst the majority for its performance, and I do think I agree that it is not great, but it's not disappearing after a few hours. I think it's just getting so close to the skin that it is almost pointless after a few hours. But it changes. Like, I had some on my wrist earlier today and I'd sprayed it hours ago, and then I realised it was still fairly strong. So I'm not sure what to make of the performance, but not that performance is the main thing we need to be worrying about with fragrances. But when they're this expensive, I do think you want more than 4 hours out of them. How does it smell? I think it smells a bit like, who knows Elemis Marine Cream? It smells like that a little bit in the opening. So it also smells a bit like daffodils. Valentine says, yes, gardenia feels like gardenia flower through sepia filter. I have gardenia in extract. Oh, I bet that's nice. So I feel like I think there is some tuberose in there, isn't there? So I think there's gardenia and tuberose, and there might be another floral. To me, it smells a bit like daffodils. Definitely smells a bit like tuberose, but it's kind of bright but green. And then I love the dry down. The dry down smells like lotion and powder, like beautifully scented lotion and powder, quite musky. The real like clean musk in the dry down, which I love, but it's not strong. So it is a little bit like a skin scent, really. But I do really love that dry down, and the opening is nice, but it's not... I haven't fallen in love with the opening, but then when it dries down, I really, really like that dry down, but it's not that strong, so I don't think it's strong enough for me. But part of me just wants a bottle anyway, and I don't know what's wrong with me at the moment. I keep going on eBay and I'm eyeing up all the like good deals, and kind of tempted. So out of everything I've tried, I am tempted by gardenia, and then there's one other I'm tempted by, I've forgotten. And gardenia, EDP and extracts are not too far from each other, same as beige. Not such a huge difference between EDP and extract of bois d'Eels. I think I watched Jacob talk about the extracts, and I think, oh look, they're so luxurious, beautiful bottles, what a great experience, dabbing them on. But ultimately, extracts, you obviously just dab them on, and they don't give you the performance of spraying on a eau de parfum or eau de toilette. They don't give you that throw, which I really enjoy. So I think for me, I'm gonna put the extracts out of my mind. I don't need to try them. Although if I see one at a ridiculously low price on eBay, of course, I'll probably just do it. I saw Jacob talk about Gabrielle extract, and he's absolutely glowing about it, absolutely loving it. Apparently it's so much better than the eau de parfum, and I kind of want to try that as well. And I thought of you, Valentina, with your love of tuberose. I don't know if you've tried it, let me know. John says gardenia is very bloody lovely. Yeah. Karine says I have the EDT of that one. I don't think I've tried the EDP. Christy says gardenia is beautiful. Have a little tiny sample bottle. Valentina says I transfer my extracts into sprays. Would never contaminate the juice with my fingers. Yeah, that's the thing with it as well, isn't it? You're like you're constantly contaminating it if you do it as you're supposed to do it. Yeah. And Karine says I really like sycamore extract. I find that one quite different from the original. Okay. Sycamore is the vetiver one, so it's not one I probably have smelt it over the years, but I don't really know it because it's not going to be my style. Yeah, there's something lovely and clean about gardenia, and it's not boring, but it doesn't have like a sweet note like a vanilla or resins or anything. It's very crystalline, clear, like looking at sparkling green lake with the sun twinkling on it. It's crystal clear, not muddied by vanilla or benzoin or anything like that. And then over time you just get this clean muskiness comes through, and it kind of calms down, and yeah, it's just lovely, clean and fluffy in the end, but you have to wait for it. So I'm kind of a fan of gardenia, kind of, but I don't think I need to buy it. But you know, I could have my arm twisted by a bargain. So I think the last Chanel that we have, yes, the last Chanel that we have, I've actually got one of the old EDTs of La Pausa. So I'm going to put this one on paper. I have had this on skin. This one is not my favourite. I don't dislike it at all. I like it, but out of everything, this is my least favourite, and I think it's just because of the green note. So according to Fragrantica, might even be the Chanel website as well, it's green notes. But to me, the green notes here come off a little herbal. Yeah, I don't really know. Like tarragon or something, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know my herbs that well. And there's some nice stuff in here. That is definitely irisy, a little woody. There's something a little fresh as well, like a sort of maybe a citrus note. It's nice, definitely irisy, but it's only the only thing I just don't enjoy is this sort of like greeny herbally thing. And I feel like there's something slightly animalic in here, just a tad, like a castoreum or something that's a touch erring on the pissy side. Of course, this is the eau de toilette, so it's been reformulated and now it's just called La Pausa. This is the eau de toilette of La Pausa 28. Karine says, I really enjoy La Pausa, but maybe Bella Respiro even more. I love green fragrances. Yeah, I think that's it. It's just that La Pausa is a bit green for me. And green in a more herbal way, a more aromatic way, which is not my favourite way to experience green notes. I guess I prefer dewy grass kind of green, watery green, watercolour green. But I see how people can like this, although apparently it's one of their least popular fragrances. But I think if you like iris, it's one to try. But I get like, what's the animalic note in Kuros? The pissy note. I get a touch of that in here. Not bad, but tarragon smells so much anise to me. Yeah, I don't know that I can put my finger on it. It could even be sage. I don't really know, but it definitely smells aromatic, green, herbal, but kind of watery. I'm picturing a watercolour garden with a green pond. It is really, really nice. I do not dislike it in the slightest, but out of everything, just because of those green notes, it's not quite for me. But the iris is great. Iris is good in everything. Iris should be in everything. So yeah, that's 28 Le Powers of the Eau de Toilette. And I think I've got mess all around me now. I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. So shall we go back to Paddock? Because that's had time to dry down, and then we'll call it a day. Oh yeah, that's definitely gone leathery now, I think. Like not Tuscan leather. It's a hint of leather. It's like leather in the air. It's like if you took a leather jacket and you just wafted it in your direction, but you've got air as well. Yeah, it's grassy, hay-like. That, and not animate, that cakey note, biscuit note, I think it is. I don't think that's really there anymore. Although it retains a little bit of sweetness. I think this is really nice. Not necessarily for me. It's unisex. Anyone could wear it for sure. It's sweet enough that I think quite a few women would be happy with it. But I see it more on a man, or I think I would enjoy it on a man. It's I tell you what I will say. I get no hint of any scratchy, dry, annoying, nasty aroma chemicals. No hint whatsoever. And I like that. It makes it smell clean and natural. Yeah. I'm going to get someone to wear this around me and see how I feel about it. I get a hint of leather, but it's very light. It's very countryside without the shit. It's the air that you breathe in when there's fields around you and there's wildlife, but you can't smell the wildlife, but everything's just buzzing around you. You're out in the country, there's fields and there's trees and there's maybe fruits and vegetables being grown. Yeah, it does have a sort of a vegetal feel. It's grounded, but it's not earthy. So I don't smell a typical earthy smell like a geosim or anything like that, but it does have that grounded feel, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. This could be a zoologist. Like if you said this was Zoologist rabbit, I mean, I don't know. I know Lizzie just sent me a message saying rabbit's really nice. And I saw someone in a Facebook group also saying rabbit's really nice. If this, I don't know what's in it or anything, but if you said this is Zoologist rabbit, it would kind of make sense. If I think about the habitat of a rabbit and what they eat and hay and carrots and all of that stuff, this could be it. So it is really nice. Indeed, very nice. So thank you to Rich Mitch for sending me that. And yeah, I think that is it. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Just finally check on your last comments. Karine says I get something pissy from sandalwood sometimes. Valentina says, oh, I miss Paddock. How does it compare with Quidarusi? Chalk and cheese, Valentina. It's not really like Quidarusi. I don't smell that smoky leather. What's it called? It's got two words. Birch tar. I don't smell birch tar in it at all. It's very the leather note that I'm getting is very soft and light and smooth, and it's almost like an abstract feeling of leather, but not upfront at all. Christy says Paddock sounds like it matched the brief perfectly. I'd love to smell it. John says thanks Claire, have a nice night folks. Cheers John, cheers Jimbo, cheers Joanna, cheers everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will hopefully catch you all soon. Mwah. Don't forget to click the like button. I do appreciate that. And yeah, see you all later. Bye. Where's the thing? There it is.